problem. Yeah, I don't mind at all.
Gretchen, this is for you. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but would you do some research on the reorganization issue and see what the code is for Cecil Township?
I'm not sure what your question is.
Okay. Last meeting, it was thrown upon us, the board reorganized. It was not on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
And I would like to know if you would research our code and make sure that Cindy was saying that apparently they feel that it was appropriate. I do not, but I would like to know if it's in our Constitution.
Well, I can tell you these two things. One is that when there is a motion that comes up that's not on the agenda, it's opened up to the public. You're allowed to have motions that are on the agenda. You just open it up to the public. Not everything always makes the agenda. And that, I was reminded, was opened up to the public. And the service of the positions of the board, so the chairman, the vice chairperson, those are all at the pleasure of the board. So there are no particular time constraints about reorganization. They serve at the pleasure of the board.
And you research this. I don't agree with that. I want to do research. It's not
actually,
that I have anything against anyone up there. That's not my motive tonight. We need to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And I just thought it was inappropriate for Eric to just surprise him. And the people in the audience, no one here knew about it either. And I just think it was inappropriate for our township to do something like that. It doesn't look good, and I want to know if it's legal or if it's binding within our code. If it is, fine, but if it isn't, then we need to go back and revisit the issue.
So, Anna, I'm going to ask you to address any questions to the board first of all. Second of all, Gretchen's answered that question. She looked into it. We didn't violate any rules. You're welcome to look into anything that you want to and address the...
Excuse me for interrupting. I'm asking Gretchen as our attorney to look into it. Wouldn't that not be where we would go? Who else would I ask?
She actually represents us, not the citizens, and she has already answered and looked into that for us. And her opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we did not violate any rules, laws, ordinance, ethics, whatever you want to say. And so, like I said, you're welcome to look into it, but at this point, as far as we're concerned, it's
Let
done.
me see if I understand you correct. You're telling me tonight, and all the citizens here, that our tax dollar pays Gretchen, and it's only for the board. We have no right to Gretchen as our attorney.
right. So I am the solicitor for the township, which means I answer to the board, and I do what a majority of the board directs me to do, or I otherwise defend and represent the township as I see
just wanted to
fit.
clarify that,
Yes.
make sure. My second question for you, Gretchen.
And I'm going to ask you to address any questions to the board of supervisors.
Well, this is about, okay, Cindy, I would like for you to ask Gretchen, our attorney, this question. And I'm not sure that she can answer it. It's a legal question. But back in June, Eric, our chairman at the time, asked Gretchen to check into the ABB attorneys because they were fired, okay? And he asked them to asked Gretchen to check the contract to see if we in the township could get out of the contract without any consequences or liability. That was back in June. I have not heard anything directed to that question yet. So I would like to know, A, has she looked into it, and can she give us an answer tonight?
At this point, there is no formal decision that's been made by this board. She has continued to check into it and provide this board. One of the things that was discussed during our the thing that was discussed during our executive session this evening was ABB and the contract. We continue, but at any point, whether we would make a formal decision, it would be done publicly.
But when do we expect that decision? We're talking about June. This is August. And all the simple question that I understand Eric asked was, can we get out of the contract without any liability? In other words, can ABB sue us? So I don't know if anyone else heard that, and if you do, speak up, but that's my understanding, that Eric asked Gretchen to check into it. So why can she not give us an answer? I mean, we're talking 2-3 months. I know she has other things. I understand that, Gretchen, and I'm not trying to point a finger at you. But I like answers, and I think 2-3 months is given you enough time that we deserve an answer.
So I can say this.
It's going to be our money. I mean, it's township money we're talking about too.
And I can say this to help answer your question. I have provided the board with my legal opinion. We've had legal discussions. Anything I discuss with the board is protected by the attorney-client privilege and therefore would never be discussed outside of the context of that privilege. But I have provided them with any information that they've requested of me from a legal standpoint related to the property.
So you're telling me and the citizens here now tonight, because of attorney-client privilege, that we, as taxpayers, and God knows I pay a lot, I have no kids in school, and I've been paying school tax for 100 years.
Well, school tax doesn't come to the
I
township.
know, but that's just a side note, Cindy. Don't get into an argument with me. I was just trying to be funny, and I didn't succeed apparently. But I still don't understand why we as taxpayers do not have the privilege of an answer. Does anyone else agree with me? I mean, don't we deserve an answer?
I think it's because we don't know the answer yet.
Well, wait a minute, Cindy just said Gretchen gave me an answer in the executive session.
She gave us some information at 6:15 this evening. At this point, we have not made a decision. When a decision is made, there will be an agenda item. We will vote publicly. We will accept public comments. We will answer. But at this point, there has been no formal decision made.
Okay, let me just reiterate, make sure I understand you. You only got Gretchen's answer tonight. So as a board, you have to make a decision. And you will, at some point down the road, hopefully not too distant future, let us know what the decision is. Is that correct?
So please understand, there were many parts to the questions, and questions that then became additional questions, and we needed to reach out to the DEP, which took a period of time for them to respond. So yes, there was a period of time, and I know June seems that far away, but it was really about 6 or 8 weeks to get us some information, So yes, we got the final piece of information this evening, or what I would say would be the final piece of information this evening. There has been no formal decision. There was no formal decision in executive session. There was no formal decision this evening. Should this board decide, and I can only speak for myself, but should this board decide to add it as an agenda item, it will be voted on and publicly discussed in September. But I don't want to make that promise because I don't.
I appreciate that and I understand that, but I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. You're telling us tonight, you cannot make a decision on the attorney part. You have to make a decision more than just about I'm just asking what you did with the attorney. The simple question to me that Eric asked was, are we liable? Gretchen's our attorney. That's a simple question. Most people in here could probably
So let me reiterate that Gretchen did provide us answers to those questions, as she said.
Now, when are you, so you're telling me somewhere down the road you will give us an answer, right?
Anna, there's ongoing negotiations. What don't you understand?
I understand.
Well, that's what it is. That's the answer. It's ongoing negotiations. We don't have an answer tonight.
Excuse me, Frankie, don't insult me.
I'm not insulting you, but that's where the
Yes, you are.
case is.
You said, don't you understand? That
It's
is-
ongoing
that is an
negotiations.
insult, and I do not appreciate it.
Anna, there will be Anna.
There has been apologies.
No, listen to me for a
I have
second,
been
Anna.
very nice about this, but I'm just pressing the issue because I think we deserve an answer. And I do not appreciate you, Frankie,
Anna,
asking me, don't you know? That's an insult. And
Anna,
I'm
listen to me for 1 second. We will, at the point in time this
I
board
understand.
decides to make a
I
decision.
understand.
So I'm not really sure what else we can tell you. We've told you, Gretchen did answer the question. She answered the questions
So
that
you're not
Eric asked.
telling me anything that, you're not telling me what we want to know. Not I got phone calls, people wanting to know this and they wanting to know. So I'm speaking for other people, not just for
Well, at this point, I would say we don't know. So we can't answer questions that we don't know.
Okay, your point is well taken.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments this evening?
And I do have one other one, if no one else does. Don Traduso.
I'm gonna ask again, Anna, that you address all questions to the
Cindy
board.
Fisher, I would like.
No,
to-
not to me, to the
All right.
board as a whole.
How would you like for me to address you, Cindy?
You can address me as Cindy, but you're asking the questions of the board as a whole. You're not
Right.
saying me.
Well, we've never done this before. Do you want to speak? This will be quick. Okay, I will address the board. And this is for, actually, I think it should go through Dawn, I'm not sure. But I would like a copy of the letter of the April, I believe, 25th meeting that Cindy Fisher, chairman now, read to the board from, I believe it was from Darla Bowman, about the ABB property. You read the letter in the public meeting. I
You can
request-
submit
I
right
have
to
that, I have that letter and I deleted it.
Hold on. I'm sure we have it, but
Why-
if you want that information, I would encourage you to submit a right to know request. Any information that comes from this board would need to be provided to you via right to know request.
Excuse me, what a runaround, Cindy. That was a public, wait a minute.
That's the process.
It was a public, you read the letter in a public meeting. Why do I have to do a right to know? It's a public meeting, it was a letter you read. It's already public.
That's our process.
It was my personal letter from Darla Bowman.
Right.
Wait, yeah.
Ron,
Okay, so,
It's also-
and I think a lot of people do understand the process here. Every request for a public document goes through the manager as a right-to-know officer, through a right-to-know request. It's just what the law requires. It provides organization of the process so that everyone keeps track of what everyone's getting. It's a one-page document. It's very simple. It's not burdensome.
I respect you, Gretchen. I respect what you are and your knowledge, but I disagree with you. And I understand the right to know, believe you me. I've been in this township 40 years and I've been coming to meetings all day long, so I know what the procedure is. But my question is, since it was read, Cindy read it in public, and Ron, I'm sorry if you deleted it, but it's on YouTube, they're telling me someone is, but the bottom line is, Cindy, you read, I'm not trying to do a I gotcha thing, I just want to see the letter. Everybody seems to think that we're in an I gotcha mode. I want a copy of the letter. You read it in a public meeting, Gretchen.
Anna, let me reiterate, and then if it's okay with you, we're going to move on. Any public documents need to be released after a right to know request. It's a very simple form that can be filled out, submitted to the township, to Don Junis, our right to know officer, and then he will release that information to you. So if you would like that.
We will move on, but let me ask you, what is it that you guys are trying to hide that you don't want me to have a copy of the letter? I'm serious.
Nobody
You can go on YouTube and watch her read it.
Anna,
If you're above board, give me a copy of the letter if you have nothing to hide.
Anna, nobody's saying that we won't give you a copy of the letter.
No,
We're
but
saying in order to follow the law, you need to submit a right to know request.
After it was already made public, and that doesn't make sense. I mean,
Anna, all that was a comment from Darla Bowman stating that Muse School had no interest in coming through the ABB property. That's all it was.
that wasn't all Cindy read. You told you to.
Anna, okay, with all due respect, we've answered your question related to this. If you would like that document, please, we are happy to provide it to you, but please submit a right to know request. Do you have any additional questions?
Well, I'm not finished yet. I would like to address Supervisor Flair, because he did not give all the information.